Attack of the Clones has almost always been my least favorite Star Wars film. That might have changed with Rise of Skywalker, I'm not sure, but I figured it's time to go back and rewatch it, especially considering that I'm looking much more leniently on Revenge of the Sith now. The Clone Wars has definitely helped out Revenge of the Sith and the prequels in general, and I've been just doing a deeper dive into some of the prequel era stuff. So I figured now's a good time to look back, especially considering what happens in this week's episode of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. That flashback sequence was awesome, and that takes place just before Attack of the Clones, so I figured now's as good a time as any to go back and see, is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, worth the hate? Let's find out. Alright, I am 15 minutes in. I gotta say that the plan to kill Padme is just convoluted. It doesn't make any sense. Why, if Jango Fett was hired to kill Padme, did he then hire another bounty hunter to do it for him? Jango goes up to Zam Wesell, the other bounty hunter, and is like, my client's getting impatient. It's like, what? He said that she said, like, what? Why are you playing that game, Jango? Aren't you supposed to be, like, one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy, the best bounty hunter in the galaxy? Isn't that why you were hired to do the job? Why are you, like, dishing out work, but also right there on the planet also? It doesn't make sense. And then sending the centipedes in. The fact that it almost works makes no sense. But honestly, on the, like, positive side, I will say Hayden Christensen's portrayal of Anakin, I am buying a lot more that he's supposed to be an awkward teenager. I'm interested to re-see for myself how the romance that I know is coming between Anakin and Padme builds. Seeing their first interaction, again, since they haven't interacted since the Phantom Menace when he was a little kid, seeing him all like, oh, I don't know how to speak to a crush because I'm a Jedi and we don't do romance things. It makes sense. Makes sense why he's awkward. And then seeing Padme go like, oh, you'll always be that little boy on Tatooine. Like, how... I'm interested to see the portrayal of how that changes, because that changes quickly. Like, seriously, Jango Fett was able to shoot with pinpoint accuracy a toxic dart into the neck of Zam Wesell, not only from several city blocks away, but from also up high on top of a Coruscant skyscraper. He was able to make that shot directly into her neck right before she said his name, but he's not just waiting on a rooftop for Padme to land to shoot one of those darts into her neck and just be done. He could just be done. Padme would be dead. Why did he hire anyone else? Okay, so obviously I remembered, oh, I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough, irritating. It gets everywhere. Not like here. Here everything is soft and smooth. And then he creepily touches her back, but I guess it's not that creepy. She doesn't say anything about it. She thinks for a second, and then they kiss. The Sandline is right before he gets kissed by Natalie Portman. I will say, I do really appreciate John Williams in the music cue. Right when the music is swelling as they kiss, it's romantic, and then she pulls back and the music just immediately stops. That was funny. I mean, I can see kind of how it built to a kiss between them. I mean, the two of them are alone, they're traveling, and they are talking about just like a lot of different things, so they are catching up and getting to know each other. Anakin's not exactly what she expects. He is awkward. He's so awkward. That Sandline, I mean. So, yeah, I don't really get it. at least not based on what's shown in the movie. If there isn't already, I'm sure whenever they make like from a certain point of view, Star Wars Attack of the Clones book, they can easily show like, you know, the whole trip from Coruscant to Naboo on the passenger line, or the little canoe trip. Like there are definitely moments where the two of them can talk more and bond. It's just not shown in the movie, so it feels very abrupt, other than the fact that I know it's coming. And then on the flip side, Obi-Wan Kenobi's investigation. It is fun to see him thrown into the... He goes to Kamino, and they're like, "Oh, we've been expecting you, Master Jedi," and he's like, "Oh, cool." And they're like, "The clone army, over 200,000 units already." He's like, "That's great news." So, of course, you want to inspect the clones, though. That's why I'm here. It shows his skills in thinking on his feet and being like, "Oh, if I just go along, it looks like they're going to show me weird things that are going on here that obviously have to do with the Jedi. So might as well investigate that way." But knowing that there is no real payoff in the movies for this investigation, it does feel superfluous. I know that they did more of it in the Clone Wars animated series. I'm forgetting that arc exactly off the top of my head. Things in this movie aren't feeling developed enough to stand on their own. This movie really feels like it needs that supplemental material, the books, the comics, the animated series, other stuff like that, to build on what's happening in the movie, which just isn't great for, you know, a movie. So I just watched the fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Jango Fett, and you know what? It's goofy. There's no question about it. It's goofy. Twice in a row, Obi-Wan takes an explosion right at his feet and is thrown back and is completely just uninjured, just, you know, thrown back by an explosion right inches in front of him. So it's goofy, but it's also a lot of fun. That fight was a lot of fun. Alright, so the movie just finished, and man, the last act of the movie is just a whirlwind. But the arena segment was surprisingly good. Obviously, some of the CGI still doesn't hold up. Seeing past that, it's a fun segment, and then more Jedi show up, and we get more action, and then the clones show up, and a lot happens. Is it fun spectacle? Yeah. Until we chase down Count Dooku, and then we have the lightsaber fights. Anakin versus Dooku, probably one of the worst lightsaber battles of the prequels, which the prequels had. Say what you will about them, but they have great lightsaber battles. But this one is famously just all close-ups of them while they're going like woof, 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 with their lightsabers. Man, I feel like you could sit down and talk about this movie for so long and still not have covered anything, because there's so much going on, and a lot of it is left ambiguous and confusing. Yes, this whole thing is orchestrated by Palpatine, the Clone Wars, the Republic getting the army, the Separatists, them fighting. It's also that way he can gain political power, put the galaxy in the state where, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, he can proclaim himself emperor, and everyone's like, just thank God we're at the end of all of this chaos. But watching the chaos unfold as an audience member, watching this for the first time, I would certainly be confused. I would definitely be confused not knowing all that happens in the Clone Wars. And again, a movie shouldn't need supplemental material to have it stand on its own. And that's what this movie requires. So, is Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones worth the hate? I think so. I mean, obviously there are like, hate's such a strong word. I think there are some things that this movie does well. There are segments that are certainly fun. And it's not like I'm like, oh, it was terrible, it ruined my childhood. This was part of my childhood. It came out, I was 5 when this came out. But it wasn't painful to watch, but there's not a whole lot of it that I really enjoy. There's not even, like, a standout sequence that I'm like, this is incredible. If the rest of this movie is, like, mediocre to bad, at least we have this segment. There's really nothing really like that for me in this movie. So yeah, it's not great. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more videos like this, I have a couple already. I recently did a video like this for Revenge of the Sith. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and as always, I hope you have a good week.